Are you a female coach or course creator and you're trying to figure out the best tool to create a free lead magnet? Well, today I am going to walk you through what I do in Canva to create amazing lead magnets. Now, you've probably been using Canva already, but what I'm going to share with you is how to think about your lead magnets strategically, how to create something that is actually going to attract your ready to buy customers. So I am literally going to switch to sharing my screen and I'm going to walk you through this whole thing. Are you ready? Let's go. So when it comes to Canva, there's lots of different things that you can do beyond creating lead magnets. You can create YouTube thumbnails, you can do your social media stuff, all the things. But we're specifically going to dive into creating a free strategic freebie. Now, the reason why I use the word strategic is when you are creating a free lead magnet, the first thing that you should always think about is where am I taking this person after they access this freebie? Like, what happens next? So that's where the strategy comes in. The strategic piece of this is you don't want to go down the path of creating a lead magnet unless it is intentionally attracting your ready to buy customer and then actually pulls them into your offer. And there's several ways that you can do that. And we'll talk about that in another video. But basically, what we want to do with our strategic freebies is we want to ensure that at the very back of that freebie, we have like a little mini ad, right? Think about magazines and the little ad placements that they have throughout. You want to approach this in the same way. So the type of strategic freebie that we can create in Canva are things like templates, workbooks, those types of things, anything that you can turn into a PDF. However, with Canva, you can also create shareable templates. So you can create a template and then create a share link that then allows people to add that to their Canva account, and then they can go ahead and make changes and all the things. So it really just depends on your offer, your ready to buy customer, and what it is that's going to bring them into your world. So I'm going to walk you through a couple that I have already created, and then I'm just going to walk you through some basics of actual design. Where I see the majority of my Cultivate members struggle the most is with the design. So I want to walk you through some design principles. And honestly, this is where templates are your lifesaver. I'm a huge fan of starting with a template, keeping kind of the bones of that template, and then customizing it for your colors. Okay, so let's go and have a look at some of my really high converting lead magnets and how you want to set them up strategically first. And then we'll do some design stuff in a second. Okay, so I wanted to show you two examples of how you can promote something at the end of a freebie. So this option here is the micro offer planner, and this promotes my low cost membership, the 1K Lab. It's $15 a month, and this entire planner kind of walks someone through a few different elements that are covered inside the 1K Lab. So it's a really good way to kind of bring people into your world. So this is where I'm talking about something being strategic. So if we actually look at this in a bigger form, so you can kind of see how this looks. So you can see here that this is designed to be written into both, printed out and written into, but also just typed straight into. So this is called the Micro Offer Planner, and it basically walks you through how to create a micro offer. So something that's small and tangible and someone can add into their offer suite. So a lot of times when people come into the 1K Lab, they don't have enough offers created to utilize some of the strategies that we teach in the 1K Lab to grow your audience. So this planner helps them kind of map all of those components out. So it just walks through different elements. And so you definitely want to provide as much actionable information as possible. So that's why I'm a huge fan of workbooks and planners. Those tend to be my go-tos when it comes to creating a strategic free lead magnet. So what I really wanted to show you was what you do at the end. So in this example here, I've just said, congratulations, you made it. Now, all the way through this entire document, there is a link to the 1K Lab in the footer. So always have that, and I'll show you how to add that in a second. And then I've also got, join the 1K Lab now here after I've kind of walked them through a little bit of information. So this is a very soft sell. It's not a heavy sell. If someone has actually gone through this document, this is going to be an immediate next step for them. So if you want to add a hyperlink to an element inside Canva, you can see here that I've just clicked this, and then all I have to do is click in here and come in and change this to be the 1K Lab. And you can see here it's already a link, so I'm just going to click done, but I don't want the text to be underlined. So in order to turn off that piece, you're going to have to come up to the little three dots and just unclick underline, because I want this to operate like a button. And that's essentially what that is now doing, is it operates like a button. So when someone hovers over it, they will be able to see it. Now, obviously, if someone isn't using this and they print it out, you also want to make sure that you pop in the actual main link somewhere in your text as well. But for the most part, people will download this as a PDF. And as soon as you do that, this all becomes clickable. So this is option one in terms of how you can really, and I'll just zoom in on this, how you can create a strategic freebie that then also points people into an offer. Now, obviously, there's no guarantee that people are going to buy from here. That's your job. You've got to then make sure that your sales page is speaking to them. But this is exactly what you want to do, and make this clickable, make it obvious, and make it relatable back to whatever it is that you've just walked them through. So that's option one. Option two is more of a full page ad, right? If we're taking the magazine analogy, this is more of a full page ad. So you can see here that this is a custom business plan using human design. And this walks someone through how to start implementing their type, strategy, and authority into their business to make decisions, to create offers, and to create a marketing plan that feels easy and fun. So it is a natural progression that at the end of this particular planner and workbook that I present them with the Human Design for Business Bootcamp. So this was delivered live, but this is now the entire full self-study version. So someone can go through this and start implementing all the things that they've learned, but even more. There's a ton of stuff inside this bootcamp. So this is more of a self-study version, and this is a membership. So how you choose to promote is entirely up to you, but you definitely want to also ensure that you're linking to it in the footer area. In each of your footers, you just want to link to wherever you actually want them to go, because people will just naturally click on things if they see that it's hyperlinked. So that is the key. So now that we've talked about strategic freebie and what this looks like, now let's actually go through and just talk about design a little bit. So you can see in both of these that I have designed these in different ways. And I have, this one here is a little bit more design heavy because it is designed to have a lot more content than it is to necessarily be used as a workbook, although you'll see here the second half of it is a workbook. So it really just depends on your way of designing. And you can see here, same thing. This one is way more, using it to actually write into things. So I typically just reuse what I've already got. These are templates that I started out with. And so if you are wanting to create from scratch, the easiest thing for you to do is literally come up into here and just tell Canva what you want to create. It'll probably give me some options, or I could probably even try lead magnets. Sometimes it does bring up some options, but honestly, I just like to start with the letter size, and depending on where you are, it's going to bring up something that makes sense. So you can just choose whichever one you want. I am just going to roll with the letter A4 because that's where I'm located. And then as soon as I do that, you'll see that it's brought up a whole bunch of templates. So I can come up to here and type in planner, and it will bring up a whole bunch of planning options, that type of thing. But honestly, the easiest way to get started with creating a strategic freebie, and particularly if you're going to a workbook or a planner, is to start with a template. So if you're sitting there going, I don't even know where to start, all you have to do is comment template below, and I will get you the two examples that I just shared with you as templates. You can use either of those. I have them in template form so that you've got two different ways to get started. But I want to just kind of show you how you might want to start on the design side of things, just to make sure that if you do decide to start from scratch, that you know what you're doing. So obviously the first page is the most important page. And so you can see here, I've got two different designs. So I've got this one, which is more text heavy. And then I've got this one, which is a little bit different, right? Like it's got some different elements that I've used, that type of thing. So it really just depends on how you want to present it. But you can see here that the text and the placement of the text is really important. You'll also notice that I don't use more than 3 colors typically, and you want to have that as a rule of thumb. And this is what makes your design cohesive when you're going through. So when you are starting from scratch, again, you could choose to come up to design and just come up to here and just go cover. And it's going to give you some options. You can go cover page, you can start from any of the templates here. But honestly, I like to keep things really simple. So I would typically start with background color, and this is one of my actual brand colors. Then I would choose my text. Now, you can also do a really great job of just using the suggested text options that you have here. So you can see here, you've got font combinations, and this is never going to steer you wrong. You can't go wrong with using any of the font combos that Canva gives to you. So if you're really struggling to kind of come up with a way to design your cover, then I would literally just jump in here and go, you know what, I'm just going to roll with this particular one here, which I think looks awesome. And you can edit the colors. So you can see here it's grouped. So I'm just going to ungroup them so that I can come in and edit all of these. So I could make that darker. And then this one here, I might choose to make that white. And then you can kind of see how this starts to come together. So I really actually like that. And I might want to make that bigger. So I can just literally drag and make this a bit bigger if I wanted to. So I'm going to take that right to the edge, and that is now centered. And then obviously if you were going to include, talk about you and your brand, you're probably going to want to have your logo. So I am just going to come into here. I'm just going to grab my main logo. I'm going to pop that down the bottom. I always like to center things. And you can see here as I'm moving things around, there is a purple box. That is always the print parameters. So if you want things to print properly, you want to keep everything like your main text, you 100% want to keep that within those guidelines. So that's pretty much what I would do. I'm not a fan of having huge imagery on my cover, but it might work for you. If you're going to use an image, make it fill the entire background for your cover. So if I wanted to do that, let me just come into here and let's just say I'm going to go succulents. I really like succulents. So let's say I decide I want to have, I don't know, some image as the background. So I'm just going to pop this into here, and then I am going to do this, and then I'm just going to send it to the back. So I'm going to make it go all the way back. And that's what it's done. Now, I probably want to make this a little bit transparent because I don't want that to be the main focus. And you can see because I already have that blue background, it's now coming through. So I'm going to do that at around 15. So it's still a little bit hard to read. So I might just take that down a little bit more, maybe take it down to 5. So there's only a hint that might not work as well. So maybe 7, maybe I will leave it at 10. Yeah, okay, perfect. So that is how you can start to utilize that. And then in terms of your actual page design, layouts, all of those things, again, honestly, this is where I would come into here. And if you were going to use a planner, I would find a planning template that you could just come in and edit. So entirely up to you. Try not to pick anything that's got too much busyness going on, particularly if this is going to be something where you have loads and loads of pages. You've got to think about if someone is going to print this off, you don't want this to be, super heavy in terms of color design, all of those things. So you can see here, there's even some note pages, that type of thing, but I definitely like to keep things really simple. So this is the type of thing that I use when I'm doing note pages. And you can see as soon as you do that, there's a whole bunch of different options that come up. But the biggest rule of thumb is keep your fonts to 2 fonts where possible. You can use a third font on your front cover, and then keep your colors to no more than 3, and then just keep everything really simple. So as I said, I am going to gift you the 2 templates that I used for this, and all you have to do is comment templates below to get access to these. And in the next video, which is coming up on your screen right now, I'm going to talk to you about how you can use these to actually make daily sales in your business. Go and check that out now.